that stem cell can make you young. Stem cells are fountain of youth. That is what we are believing. But actually, it is plotting to kill you. The DNA contained in the stem cell is to cause programmed death to you before 120 years of age. It cannot let you become young. It already made your teeth fall, wrinkles, menopause, grey hair, etc. A stem cell is formed when a sperm delivers 50% DNA of the father to 50% DNA of the mother in her egg. The stem cell replicates many times to create 37 trillion cells, many differentiated to create you. That is, that one stem cell is multiplying many times and is creating you. And many of the stem cells will be differentiated to create different types of cells like bones, skins, hair, etc. The DNA code in the stem cell does not want you to live forever, and so you cannot expect it to help you to become young after becoming old. The DNA of the stem cell has the complete intelligence of how to make a baby, how to grow the baby into a man or woman, how to reproduce, how to look after the children, but at the end, to die. If someone punched you on your face and if a tooth falls, the stem cell in you will regrow the tooth if you are a small boy or girl with no earlier tooth fall, but will not regrow the tooth if you are an adult because of the DNA program in the stem cell which had created you. But of course, the wound will be healed by the stem cells. Only fewer stem cells are managing an adult human body. That is, after you became 30 years of age, that is, you are an adult, the number of stem cells in your body is reduced, and the bone marrow has 50,000 to 20,000 stem cells. Adult stem cells are also found in other tissues like blood, brain, skin, and fat, but in smaller quantities compared to the bone marrow. Homing of a stem cell on a capillary. Stem cells in the bloodstream are delivered to capillaries through a process called homing, which involves the cells as actively navigating to specific tissues or organs. That is, the extra stem cells which are there in the blood coming to help your affected part of the body now has to be delivered through the blood capillary only, but the hole in the blood capillary is too small, it cannot be pushed through it. So what is done is, it uses a process called homing. This process includes rolling and firm adhesion of stem cell to the endothelial cells lining the capillaries, followed by migration through the endothelial barrier and into the surrounding tissue.
Anyways, this heart pumps this oxygen rich blood through this artery all the way into the blood capillaries. This is where the cells of our body starts removing the oxygen from the blood and starts throwing carbon dioxide back into the blood. And now the blood is deoxygenated because it no longer has oxygen, it has a lot of carbon dioxide, and that's why it's shown in blue. It goes all the way up through this vein into the heart, And then from there goes to purify in the lungs, and then it gets purified, comes back to the heart, and the cycle repeats. That's something we've seen before, right? But now let's talk about something that we haven't seen before, okay? The first thing is, remember that the blood inside the arteries, the vessels that take the blood away from the heart, so this one and this one, they are under pressure, right? Because as the heart squeezes, the blood is under pressure, which means the blood is pushing on the walls of these arteries. And another thing to focus on is that if you were to zoom into these capillaries, so if you were to look at one of those capillaries, then we see that the walls of the capillaries have holes in them. So now think about it. The blood over here is under pressure. That means the blood is pushing on the walls, and the capillary of that wall, the wall of that capillary has holes in them. What's going to happen? Well, if you thought that due to the pressure, the blood starts oozing out of these holes, then you are absolutely right, which are called lymph vessels, which clear out this lymph from your tissues. So just like how we have blood vessels and blood capillaries, these are called lymph vessels. So thick ones are called lymph vessels, and the thin ones are called lymph capillaries. So over here, if I were to show you those lymph capillaries, this lymph fluid enters into these capillaries and it clears the lymph out from your tissues. Now, one difference between blood capillaries and lymph capillaries you can immediately see is that blood capillaries connect to blood vessels, right? They're open-ended. But as you can see, the lymph capillaries, they are closed at one end, right? The cells of these lymph capillaries, as you can see, have a little bit of overlapping structures. That's very important. So now when they are surrounded by this lymph fluid in the tissue, it's the same lymph fluid over here, the fluid starts pressing on the walls. So it starts pressing on the walls. And now look carefully what happens when the fluid starts pressing on the walls, okay? These walls open up. Look at the junction carefully. The walls open up like this. Cool, right? Let me show you one more time. The walls open up like this. And now the fluid enters the capillary. And now if you're wondering, why doesn't the fluid just flow back out through the same opening? Then once the fluid gets inside, it'll start pushing from inside, right? And as it pushes from inside, look at what happens to these walls. They will start closing now. Look carefully, they will now close. So it's like a one-way door. It only allows the fluid in, but doesn't allow it to go out. And that's how these capillaries clear out the lymph from your tissues.
Okay, now you know what is a blood capillary and what is a lymph capillary. The stem cells are affected by the lymph capillary. How? In an young animal, the stem cells are connected to the lymph capillaries, whereas when the animal is aged, the stem cells are not working properly, and one of the suspected reason is that the stem cells are not connected to the lymph capillaries properly. The picture here shows for an young animal the stem cells which are in green, they are closely connected to the lymphatic capillaries, which are the white things which are shown. Whereas in an aged animal, the stem cells are not connected to the lymph capillaries. In an aged animal, the stem cells which are shown in yellow are not connected to the lymphatic capillaries, which are the blue ones. So what is suspected is that as you age, the tissue is becoming bad. Not the stem cell is good, but the tissue around it is becoming bad somehow, and the stem cells are not getting connected to the lymphatic capillaries. So we have to do something so that the stem cells are given proper environment so that it actively works. If it works, then whatever problem in that spot is there will be repaired properly by the stem cell. So the problem is not in the seed, that is the stem cell, but in the land, that is in the tissue.
Products available in the market for boosting the stem cells in the blood. Stem regon supplement is very costly. Stem regon is designed to increase the number of circulating stem cells in the blood. It works by mobilizing stem cells from the bone marrow and supporting their migration into tissues. Specifically, studies have shown that the ingredients in stem regon can increase stem cell circulation by up to 80%. Not much. Cocoa powder is a cheaper stem cell booster that can double stem cells in blood. Consuming high flavanol dark chocolate, especially with 80% or more cacao content, can double the number of circulating stem cells in the bloodstream. A study at UCSF found that drinking high flavanol cocoa twice a day for 30 days led to a doubling of stem cells compared to a control group. Caution: cocoa powder can pose some risks for individuals with kidney problems due to its high oxalate and phosphorus content. Oxalates can contribute to kidney stone formation, while phosphorus can be problematic in kidney disease as it can build up in the body. Will Gotukola or Vallarai or Asiatica work on stem cells? Gotukola, also known as Centella asiatica, is an herb used in traditional medicine for various purposes, including wound healing, improving circulation, and potentially enhancing cognitive function. Neuroprotection. Studies have shown that Gotukola can enhance the differentiation of neural stem cells and protect them from damage, suggesting a potential role in neurodegenerative diseases. Side effects. Gotukola contains things that may hurt a person's liver, and taking it along with some other medications that also can harm the liver may cause liver damage.
Regarding stem cells, the research is on. We have to still invent a lot of things. For example, more herbals are to be tried. Will bone broth work? Will drinking bone marrow soup work? How about refined Gotukola or Vallarai? Fasting, will it help? Sleeping, will it help? Stem cells injection, will it help? Antioxidants, will they help? We'll have to see. So, conclusions. 1. The stem cell cannot help you to become young because it is having a program to make you die. So it will not help you for reverse aging. At the maximum, point number 2, it can help you in anti-aging. That is, whatever stem cells which are stuck here and there, or we can produce some more from the bone marrow into the bloodstream and then push here and there. These stem cells at the maximum can help in anti-aging, that whatever part which has been made in the form of differentiated cells, so that has to be maintained properly. So point number 3, of course, we have to do more research on stem cells. Thank you.